Welcome, friends and allies, to the first MESBG battle report of the channel. Today we're going to be going over a 300-point Clash by Moonlight scenario featuring Ben's Rohan and Will's Army of the Dead. Ben's Rohan is led by Theoden and Durnhelm, with 7 riders of Rohan with throwing spears. Will is going to need to watch out for those, as they're going to be thrown into every charge that they do. And Will is leading the Army of the Dead, led by the King of the Dead, and following him are 8 warriors with shield, 4 warriors with spear, and 1 warrior with both spear and shield. Will is running this group as part of an escalation army later this year. We're all very excited to see how this matchup will turn out. With introductions out of the way, let's get started. In Clash by Moonlight, you score victory points based on 3 different metrics. The first being wounding or killing the enemy leader. The second, by breaking the enemy force while trying to not be broken yourself by the end of the game. And the third, by keeping at least one of your heroes alive by the end of the game while slaying the enemy's heroes. With these objectives in mind, Will determined that his undead forces would fare better against their mounted and more mobile enemies by hunkering down in ruins to stem the flow of the oncoming cavalry charge. And charge they did. In the first few turns, Ben sought to close the distance between the 2 armies so that he could capitalize on his hero's killing ability as well as the riders' additional attacks and throwing spears on the charge. Once the dead were within charging range, Ben was able to make his move, but the terror that his foes invoked in his riders was too great. Only 1 rider along with Theoden and Durnhelm were able to pass their courage checks to face the dead head-on. With the dead countercharging to surround the king, Durnhelm needed to enact a heroic combat to take some of the heat off of her uncle. Despite the dead king's overwhelming numbers, the dice were not on his side as he lost the heroic strike-off, received 2 wounds from Theoden, and was slain after failing all 3 of his fate rolls. Theoden thoroughly busted that ghost.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
After his near brush with death, Theoden opted to remove himself from the combat for a bit so that his retinue was able to clear up the remaining ghosts. The remainder of the match saw much of the same, as Rohan was able to fully clear out the remaining dead of Dunharrow so that the land would be rid of ghosts once and for all. Despite Will's Dead of Dunharrow looking so strong on paper with their high defense, their terror, their ability to counter-swarm the enemy heroes as they came in and their warriors failed their courage checks, ultimately this game came down to the luck of the dice, and it was not on the Dead of Dunharrow's side. After being nearly tabled, the end result was a 12-0 win for Rohan. I hope that you all enjoyed watching this. Thank you so much, and until next time, thank you for being our friends and allies.